Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good. I don't know if it is morning in Sri Lanka.
Now just afternoon. Just afternoon.
Good. Oh, afternoon. Okay. So I would like to ask something relating to yesterday's lecture.
Yeah.
Yes, Lukáš, toto aj potom môžeš pretlmočiť. And you were talking about feelings and thoughts that many times we don't have them under control because they are spontaneously arising. But you also mentioned unconscious or unconscious mind, that they have their causes in unconscious. So I would like to ask you about Buddhist notion of the unconscious. And I would also like to ask you something about imprints, because in Buddhism they talk a lot about imprints in unconscious. So that's my question.
Yeah. So basically in Buddhism, so there are three layers or three levels of thoughts, or we can say three levels of defilements they are discussing. The first level is the most obvious type, that is where we are burning with kind of a desire, kind of an anger, and then immediately we are going for action. And that is where we are hitting someone, maybe hurting someone, blaming someone. So that is where we are going to the transgression level, and that is more obvious.
Bante, sorry for disturbing you, but it's relatively hard to understand. Could you maybe go closer to the microphone?
I see. Okay. Can you hear now?
We can hear you well. It's just that the words are hard to recognize because it's like mumbling, or it's like if you would be like in a big room and the microphone is far away or something like that.
Okay. So
Áno.
Shall I try now?
Otázku, alebo iba odpoveď?
Shall I try now, Lucas?
Áno. Čiže aj otázku. Čiže spomínal ste včera v rámci Damatovku o pocitoch a myšlienkach. A síce hovorili ste, že oni sa objavujú, ale my nie len pod kontrolou, ani sa objavujú spontánne. Taktiež ste sa zmienil o podvedomej alebo nevedomej mysli a o tom, že oni majú svoju príčinu v tejto podvedomej nevedomej mysli. A tak by som sa vás chcela spýtať na buddhistické poňatie, alebo ako sa chápe toto nevedomie. A taktiež otláčky. V buddhizme sa veľa hovorí o týchto nevedomých otláčkoch. A Bante hovorí,
can you hear now? Can you hear clearly now? I see. Okay. Okay. Fine. So there is some noise because of the rain. So I am trying to do my best, but today it seems like we have to go like this. So the second level of defilements that discussed here is called the sort of obsessive level, where various kinds of defilements are available in the mind. They are in the surface, and still we haven't go for any kind of action like transgression, blaming, hurting, hitting or something like that. But still the defilements are there in the mind, and we can recognize them. So that is the second level that Dhamma talks. Dhamma is called the latent defilements, where we can't recognize them still because they are very much like hidden. They are very much like sleeping. But the potential is there when there are various opportunities, they are going to come to the surface. So that is we call as anusaya, or the latent tendencies. And that is where the various kinds of habitual tendencies, various personality traits are there in the latent level. So that is the other level, hidden level, that the Dhamma talks. So actually the first one, that is where the defilements are there, and because of that we are become sort of slave to those defilements, and we are doing some sort of transgression. And that can be actually tamed or restrained using morality. That is where the various precepts are there. Say for example, I am avoiding any kind of killing, preventing from stealing, preventing from sexual misconduct, preventing from abstaining from lying. So likewise, these precepts, the morality, can actually stop that transgression level. So the second level, that is where we are burning with lust or anger or any other defilement, but still we haven't taken any action. So that is only at the mind. So that actually can be subsided, or that can be somewhat calmed down using a samatha practice, where we do say metta meditation, we do some sort of asubha bhavana, that is the loathsomeness of the body. So likewise, so these are in a way the calming downs of various hindrances. So that can be actually done using any kind of samatha or vipassana meditation. So the latent defilements is the most difficult part. So in order to handle that, we need to do especially the vipassana meditation. So even in the vipassana meditation, we have to come to a fairly developed level where we are able to maintain fairly free mind, undefiled mind, and a mind free from grasping. And while we are trying to keep that kind of a level, then still various defilements might happen or might occur due to various triggering or various impulses coming from outside. So there we can understand various habitual tendencies, latent tendencies operating in our mind. So basically the clarity of the mind, spaciousness of the mind, equanimity of the mind, and recognition of a mind which is free from any defilement, and these are the sort of references that one can use in this understanding process of the latent defilements. Don't know whether that answered your question, but if it didn't properly answer the question, you can ask more questions. Yeah, I think, so still it is possible because stability of the mind is something that slowly growing, and even though I am teaching you, I am not a person with 100% stability of the mind. And anyway, so we can understand the path according to the Buddha's teaching. So slowly it is improving, and if you consider your state of the mind, say about several years ago, so you may have understood that it was going up and down, and there are so many agitated states and many defilements and less mindfulness and less clarity. But once you understood the path and you are growing in that path, and mind become less and less proliferating and less tense and less stress. So likewise, you can gradually understand, okay, with the time, so there is an improvement, but it is a kind of a slow process. You can't recognize daily that how much has improved, but say about several months later you can understand, or you can actually compared to several months ago, my mind has now become less defiled or less agitated, or maintaining the stillness, maintaining the clarity for long time compared to the previous states. So likewise, it's a kind of a gradual improvement.
Na tento proces stabilizácie, či je možné aj pre nás ako laických ľudí, ktorí žijú každodenný život, v normálnom živote dokonale dovršiť, uskutočniť túto stabilitu mysle, či je to realistický cieľ. A to mi hovorí, že je to možné, pretože táto stabilita mysle, to je niečo, čo pomaly rastie, čo rozvíjame, a dokonca, hoci ja vás učím, ja sám nie som človek, ktorý má 100% stabilitu mysle, ale vidím, ako sa táto stabilita postupne zlepšuje. Čiže ak si vezmete seba samých a svoju myseľ napríklad pred niekoľkými rokmi, kedy vaša myseľ mala rôzne vzlety a pády a podliehala rôznym nečistotám, bola rozrušená, mali ste menšiu jasnosť, menšiu všímavosť, tak keď sa na seba pozriete teraz, tak vidíte, že myseľ menej nasleduje myšlienky, je menej napätá, menej vystresovaná, čiže postupne plynutím času vidíte pokrok. Je to však pomalý proces, nie je to niečo, čo môžete vidieť zo dňa na deň, ale keď sa pozriete spätne niekoľko mesiacov dozadu, tak môžete vidieť v porovnaní s tou situáciou pred pár mesiacmi, teraz máte menej nečistot, myseľ je menej rozrušená, máte možno väčšiu jasnosť, väčšiu stabilitu, čiže môžete takto s odstupom vidieť postupné zlepšovanie.
Thank you very much. So, one more question, and it is the question rising at this moment. And I think, I don't know, maybe it was not in the lecture, but it was in your answer to one of our questions. And you said something about our physical part and mental part, that they, in some way, they are influencing each other. So I would like to ask you about this relationship in Buddhism between, how do you see it, between the body and the mind? How do they influence each other?
Yeah, so basically in Dhamma, actually it is explained, say if you consider the physical body, so there are various obvious parts, we can say there are various illnesses happen because of the mental stress, mental agitation and various defilements. So the body also get affected. So in first sense, we can understand there is a great influence from the mental stress and mental defilements happening because of the and towards the body, and therefore people are talking about the kind of a psychophysical relationship is there. There are psychosomatic diseases And this is one aspect that we can discuss in this point.
A ešte ďalšia otázka, by som sa rada spýtala, ktorá vyvstala v tejto chvíli. Asi ste to nespomínal vo výklade, ale v odpovedi na jednu otázku. A síce ste spomínal, že je tu naša fyzická stránka a potom mentálna stránka. A tiež je tu akýsi spôsob, ako sa navzájom ovplyvňujú. Čiže ja by som sa rada spýtala na buddhistické vysvetlenie vzájomného vzťahu tela a mysle a ako sa navzájom ovplyvňujú.
And on the other hand, yeah.
Sorry, Venerable, just because of the question, I had to translate also her question. So, takže v zásade môžeme povedať, že Dhamma vysvetľuje, že máme naše fyzické telo, to je niečo zrejmé, čiže hovorí sa však aj o napríklad chorobách, ktoré máme vplyvom stresu našej mysle. Čiže keďže myseľ je rozrušená, má veľa rôznych mentálnych nečistôt, tak to ovplyvňuje aj naše telo a naše telo môže z toho byť oslabené alebo ochorieť. Čiže je tu veľký vplyv na telo zo strany mysle, hlavne ak je myseľ vystresovaná alebo podľaha nečistotám, tak toto samozrejme ovplyvňuje aj naše telo. Čiže ľudia hovoria o akýchsi psychofyzických chorobách. A toto je vlastne jeden aspekt, o ktorom môžeme diskutovať.
Yeah, the other part is that there's a strong interrelationship. So I can give you a small simile that say you have a ship or a boat, and that boat cannot alone sail on the river or on the sea, and you need a pilot, you need a boat rider for do that. So the boat and the boat rider are sort of going through the sea or going through the river because of their interconnectedness. So the boat rider is the one sort of, how to say, handling the machine and handling the pedal and all these things, and alone him he can't do, but the boat is there which is carrying him. So similarly, the Dhamma mentioned the mind and the body are interconnected. Mind is like the boat rider or the pilot, and the body is like the boat, and their interconnectedness or interrelationship is necessary for the swimming or for the riding or for the going through the sea.
Čiže isté, že je medzi nimi hlboká vzájomná prepojenosť a ja by som ti dal akýsi príklad alebo podobenstvo. Čiže predstav si napríklad loď a loď sama nepláva po rieke alebo po mori. Ona potrebuje nejakého kapitána alebo niekoho, kto sa plávi po tejto lodi alebo na tejto lodi. Čiže ona sama nepláva nikam, nemá žiadny smer, ale keď je tam ten lodník alebo kapitán, tak vlastne on riadi túto loď, čiže on napríklad padluje alebo riadi nejakú strojovňu tej lode, čiže on akoby smeruje tú loď, on sa plaví, on sám by sa nevedel plaviť, čiže on používa túto loď, aby ho niekam previezla. Čiže podobne naša myseľ používa naše telo a oni sú týmto spôsobom vo vzájomnom prepojení. Čiže myseľ je ako tento kapitán alebo lodník a telo je ako táto loď. A s ich vzájomným prepojením alebo spojením potom táto loď pláva alebo ide po rieke alebo po mori.
And again, various movements of the body, say you are lifting your arm, you are lifting your leg, you are walking, and all these things require the chetana or the intention happens in the mind. So that chetana is the one driving the body, and therefore there is a kind of a command coming from the mind, and accordingly various signals and all the physical composition is being changed, and as a result of that the movement happens.
Čiže rôzne pohyby tela, ako napríklad zdvihnutie ruky, nohy, kráčanie, to všetko si žiada alebo predpokladá zámer mysle. Čiže četaná alebo zámer, to je to, čo hýbe telom a to vychádza z mysle. Čiže aj rôzne signály, čokoľvek, čo robíme našim telom, akákoľvek telesná zmena alebo telesný akt vlastne je výsledkom pohybu mysle alebo zámeru mysle.
And on the other hand, the body also has a great impact towards the mind, and when the body is sick or when the body is subjected to various kinds of illnesses or any kind of a restriction, then mind also is somewhat oppressed and it can't function in its full capacity.
Na druhej strane aj telo má veľký vplyv na myseľ, keď je napríklad naše telo choré, alebo máme nejaké telesné ťažkosti alebo obmedzenia, tak to tiež veľmi ovplyvňuje myseľ. Myseľ nemôže fungovať plne, nemôže využívať svoju plnú kapacitu, plné schopnosti.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay.
It's very helpful.
Hello.
Lukáš.
Áno, áno.
Poprosím preklad.
Určite.
Áno. Že podľa toho, čo sme si vypočuli o podvedomí a ako sa na to díva buddhistická tradícia, tak nie je rozdiel medzi tým, čo to pozná, ako to poznáme na západe. Zaujímavosť. Nech sa páči.
According to how you have explained the unconscious or subconscious mind, it seems there is no difference in the perception or understanding of it in Buddhist tradition and in the Western understanding.
Maybe, I don't know, probably the West has taken some influence from the Buddhist teaching. Actually here the latent level and then the obsessive level and the transgression level, and these are the three levels that the Buddha teaches in the various when it comes to the defilements, especially how the mind is operating. And but there are various other aspects like the Abhidhamma is explaining that how the cognitive processes are working, and all these somewhat complicated teachings are also there, which I didn't actually touch.
Čiže áno, je to možné, ale neviem. Je možné, že Západ sa inšpiroval alebo prevzal nejaké aspekty buddhistického učenia. Čiže tu som spomínal tieto tri úrovne, tá latentná, tá obsesívna úroveň a potom tá úroveň vyjadrenia nečistôt v našich činoch alebo úroveň akýchsi prestupkov. Čiže Buddha učí tieto tri úrovne hlavne vo vzťahu k nečistotám mysle a k tomu, ako funguje naša myseľ. Avšak sú aj rôzne ďalšie aspekty, ako napríklad Abhidhamma vysvetľuje rôzne kognitívne procesy, ako fungujú tieto kognitívne procesy, čo je v istom zmysle dosť komplikované a ja som o tom nehovoril, som to nevysvetľoval.
Ak dosť viem o tom, tak samotní vedeckí strojcovia týchto myšlienok nepoznali v tom čase ešte buddhizmus. Aspoň nedostatočne. Takže zdá sa, že boli inšpirovaní kultúrou a zvykmi, mytológiou. Takto sa mi to javí. Možno, že je zaujímavé povedať, že v tej západnej teórii naše vedomie má oveľa menšiu silu ako nevedomie. To znamená, že čo je dnu, čo je skryté, má oveľa väčšiu moc. A z toho vyplývajú aj potiaže.
So, according to, or in my understanding, the scientists or those scientists who have created these theories, they have no knowledge of Buddhism and Buddhist way of explaining things, so at least not sufficiently, but nevertheless they were inspired by their culture and habits and mythology. So this is how I can see and perceive it. Nevertheless, perhaps it's interesting to mention that according to Western theory, our consciousness has rather less power compared to our unconsciousness. So what is inside is more powerful or has a bigger impact on us than our conscious, like conscious awareness. And also we have lots of difficulties that arise because of that.
Yeah, certainly. Actually, that is where the Buddha's teaching is quite interesting, because through the practice we actually can recognize these various levels of defilements and how they are operating, and how they are sometimes trying to tempt us, and slowly with that recognition we can slowly allow them to fade away without feeding them, without encouraging them. And that is the only way that we can correct ourselves and to eradicate all these different kinds of habitual tendencies or personality traits. So that is the most interesting and the strong part as far as I can understand through the Buddhist practice, because it allows us to understand these various traits available in operating in our mind.
Isté, že áno. A toto je práve bod, kde je Buddhovo učenie veľmi zaujímavé. Čiže skrz našu prax my môžeme rozpoznávať tieto rôzne úrovne nečistôt a ako fungujú, ako nás zvádzajú. A pomaličky postupne skrz toto uvedomenie a rozpoznanie môžeme si dovoliť ich pustiť alebo ich opustiť bez toho, že by sme ich živili, rozvíjali, že by sme sa v nich strácali. A to je vlastne jediná cesta, ako sa môžeme skorigovať a ako môžeme vykoreniť tieto zvyky a sklony, tieto osobnostné črty. Čiže toto je, zdá sa, najsilnejšia časť buddhistickej praxe. Nám umožňuje porozumieť tomu, ako tieto sily v našej mysli fungujú.
So as per the Buddha's teaching, so it is necessary to develop certain amount of skillful means or certain amount of skillful qualities in order to implement this task. And that is where we are improving our mindfulness, that is where we are improving our concentration and wisdom, and through which actually we can do this task successfully.
čo sa týka budhovného učenia, tak v ňom sa hovorí, že je nevyhnutné, potrebné rozvinúť určitú mieru schopnosti alebo zručnosti alebo kvalít na to, aby sme túto úlohu zvládli a dokázali ju uplatniť. Čiže je treba, aby sme zlepšili svoju všímavosť, svoje sústredenie a svoju múdrosť na to, aby sme dokázali dobre vykonať alebo zvládnuť túto úlohu.
Môžem porovnať tých našich učiteľov a buddhistických učiteľov, tak dávam prednosť buddhistickým učiteľom. Ak si vezmem osobnosti tých, čo vlastne založili na západe toto učenie, tak boli hodne pod vplyvom všeličoho, čo by sme mohli buddhisticky nazvať nečistoty.
If I might compare our Western teachers who founded out those theories or teachings and compare them with the Buddhist teachers, then I would prefer or I would go for the Buddhist teachers, because when I take into consideration the Western ones, I can see they were very much under the influence of what we might call defilements or mental impurities or defilements.
Yeah, actually everyone have defilements, so it's a matter of carefully understanding them, and it takes time and it requires mental clarity to understand them, and that requires actually fair amount of practice, because in order to reach the mental clarity we require fair amount of practice, and once we reach that clarity, then it's a matter of recognizing even subtle defilements and not promoting them, and slowly, carefully letting them go, allow them to fade away. So likewise, so it's a long process actually.
V skutočnosti každý má tieto nečistoty mysle a je to skôr otázkou, ako k ním pristúpiť, ako im porozumieť, ako dôsledne s nimi pracovať, a toto je niečo, čo trvá dlhší čas. Na to je treba mať túto jasnosť mysle a pochopenie a taktiež potrebné množstvo alebo mieru praxe. Čiže je treba mať tiež jasnosť mysle, ktorá sa objavuje na základe dlhodobej praxe, a vďaka tejto jasnosti potom človek dokáže rozpoznávať stále jemnejšie úrovne týchto nečistôt a pomaly ich opúšťať alebo ich oslobodzovať, a toto je dlhodobý proces.
Actually, in today's Dhamma sermon, we have to cover about Pahana Sanya, that is where Buddha discuss about how to overcome various kinds of defilements, and especially using the sort of the cognition, and maybe we can discuss further after listening to today's Dhamma sermon as well.
V skutočnosti ja budem dnes vo výklade Dhammy vysvetľovať túto tému, tento druh vnímania, ktorým Buddha učí, aby sme vďaka nemu mohli alebo boli schopní prekonať alebo očistiť tieto rôzne nečistoty s použitím všímavosti alebo schopnosti poznať. A čiže on tam vlastne diskutuje o rôznych nečistotách a ako s nimi pracovať. Čiže po tomto výklade možno budeme môcť ďalej pokračovať v našej diskusii na túto tému.
Ďakujem.
Thank you.
Okay.
Dobrý deň, máte. Takže dobrý deň, Bante.
Yeah, good evening.
Ďakujem za možnosť mať s vami interviu. Som na samozásede druhý týždeň. Prvý týždeň som si robila veľa kľudovej meditácie a meta. A teraz v podstate robím aj vipassanu a keď sledujem pocity alebo myšlienky, tak sa ich snažím sledovať cez 3 charakteristiky. No a v podstate mysel mi robí také veci, že snaží sa dávať mi príkazy, zákazy a keď to iba sledujem, tak mi začne nadávať. A v podstate včera mi tak vychádzalo viacej ako tá neosobnosť toho, čo sa ukazovalo, tak mi tam začala podhadzovať také, že ja som a bojím sa. A potom mi zase prebleslo, že či ma zase neklame, pretože ma už oklamala veľakrát, tak to je zase také, že musíš mi veriť. No a vlastne takto to ide.
Hello, Bante. Thanks very much for having the opportunity to have an interview with you. I have been doing a solitary retreat for 2 weeks now, and in the first week I have done a lot of calm, abiding meditation, samatha, and also some metta meditation, and now I am practicing vipassana. So when I am observing sensations and thoughts, I'm trying to see them through the 3 universal characteristics. And then my mind, what happens in my mind is that my mind is trying to give me some orders or restrictions, which I'm just trying to observe. And then my mind is kind of putting me down or blaming me. And so yesterday I had some insight into impersonal nature or some perception of impersonality of those processes that were arising. But still in the mind there occurred some thoughts like I am afraid, it's me who is afraid, etc. And then again it occurred to me that it's again my mind that is cheating me. And the mind used to cheat me a lot also in the past. So it says like, now you have to trust me. And so this is the way how I have been working, or what I have been doing, and how it works for me, how it's going in my meditation.
Good. So basically these kinds of instructions are in a way showing some sort of an ego or some sort of a mind making operating in the mind. Because when the mind is not grasping anything, so there can't be any inner chatter, there is some sort of silence actually available in the mind. But when again the defilements are arising, when again the ego comes to the front, then it is actually interrupting the process and it is trying to give us various opinions and disturb this ongoing process. So understanding this mind making is quite interesting and it is important.
Tieto inštrukcie alebo pokyny opäť ukazujú, že sa jedná o určitú formu ega. Prítomnosť ja, mne sa deje, ja toto vnímam, ja toto zažívam. Čiže keď myseľ nič neuchopuje, nemôže v mysli vyvstať žiadne klávosenie, ale myseľ zotrváva v tichu. A toto ticho je k dispozícii, alebo vyvstáva v mysli. A opäť, keď naopak vyvstávajú nečistoty a je tu ego a človek je chytený v týchto nečistotách, v týchto procesoch, tak potom myseľ formuje rôzne názory, ktoré rušia tento proces. Čiže dôležité je pochopenie, že jedná sa o vytváranie ja, mne. Toto je dôležité pochopiť.
Ďakujem. Vtedy tak som to aj ja chápala, že tá myseľ je to chce.
No, bože.
Ďakujem. Chápala som to aj ja, takže vlastne tá myseľ a to ego, že sa nechcú vzdať vlastne a že stále potrebujú manipulovať a vytvárať niečo.
That's also the way how I have understood it, that my mind actually wants something. Ego does not want to give up. It always needs some sort of manipulation or always needs to create something, to feed on something.
Yeah, that is true. So that is where the agitated mind, and sometimes we can call it as restlessness. So we always want to do something. So that is where the sankhara dukkha that we discussed a couple of days ago, where some sort of an agitation, some amount of unsatisfactoriness arises because of these formations, because of these constructions, because of these manipulations. So more and more we understand that suffering, more and more we understand that unsatisfactoriness arising due to this process, then we start to slowly let it go, slowly allow it to fade away and keep the mind unagitated, keep the mind free from any tension, calm. So this is, in a way, understanding this suffering also is important aspect of the Dhamma.
A to je pravda. Keď je myseľ týmto spôsobom nekľudná a rozrušená, tak to označujeme ako rozrušenosť alebo nekľud mysle. Čiže myseľ stále chce niečo robiť, niečím sa zaoberať. A to je jak som spomínal včera, sankhara dukkha, čiže neuspokojivosť vplyvom rozrušenosti. A čiže keď ona ovláda našu myseľ, tak vznikajú rôzne formácie, myseľ s niečím manipuluje a opäť je dôležité, aby sme sa snažili toto čo najlepšie pochopiť a vnímať to ako neuspokojivosť, ako utrpenie a postupne nechať tento proces pomaly vyblednúť alebo rozpustiť, opustiť. A keď udržujeme myseľ v stave bez vzrušenia, v stave slobodnom od napätia, tak myseľ je v kľude a tiež vlastne toto pochopenie neuspokojivosti, pochopenie utrpenia je dôležitým aspektom, dôležitou súčasťou a aspektom dany.
Ďakujem pekne.
Thank you very much.
Okay, welcome.
Hello, Bante.
Yes.
I have one report that came via email from Anuradha, so I will read it and she will then listen to your answer.
Right.
Maybe she'll listen from recording because I don't see her online now, but she does listen to the recordings. I practice mindfulness of breathing and walking meditation regularly. However, today I would like to present a report on a daily activity, namely mindful eating.
That
Sit down
actually,
mindfully.
she gave that report on yesterday, Jen.
Ah.
Yes, yes.
Ah, okay. Okay.
She actually presented it on
Some-
yesterday.
Good, good. Okay, because I replied to her that I will read it today, because yesterday I wasn't here. Okay, so then it's all sorted.
Yes, yes, yes. She
So
herself.
do we have any more questions? Maybe from the online participants? Any more questions? Otterbeck? Yeah, okay, come here.
Hello, Bante. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
I'm Tomek, and I'm here for the third day. So I have one question a little bit similar to the previous, to the person that was previously talking to you. But sometimes when I'm sitting, I'm getting in a peaceful state, and with almost no pain, sometimes no pain. And but still, lasts for some minutes maybe, but still there is some excitement and the fear. And the excitement is like more craving, which I understand, and well, more or less I imagine how to deal with it. But the fear, something, I think it's the fear of maybe the good state, but unknown, fear of unknown. It seems like in my mind, I rather feel miserable and like everyday pain and that stuff, because it's something known, and I have a fear of peaceful state, because it's something new for me. Could you comment that?
Yeah, so that kind of an ongoing uncertainty and some sort of a little agitation, maybe little regret, and those things may be available in the mind, and that is where we are calling them as various hindrances. But probably you can sort of somewhat make yourself happy by thinking about the good qualities of the Buddha, and thinking about the, say, profound understanding that he has on Dhamma. So likewise, you, in a way, you can make yourself happy and sort of making a fair amount of positive atmosphere in the mind. Say you are doing some loving kindness or compassion towards yourself, and basically you have now actually you are coming to a good path, and now you are trying to develop in that path. So this is something that you can appreciate, and therefore I think likewise you can sometimes you got to praise yourself. So I mean, already you are able to achieve something, and it is very rarely that people are sort of coming to even to the meditation, but you got that rare opportunity. So that that indicates you have a very good potential. So it's therefore we have to appreciate that, we have to give some value to that, and we are slowly developing that skill, and slowly we are understanding what are the various shortcomings that we have, and we are trying to humbly understand them, and it's a kind of an improvement and empowering process. So understanding that your mind has these various kinds of say shortcomings is not a issue, because now you are trying to address them.
Okay, and thank you. And another question is about walking meditation, which I still find much harder than sitting meditation. An advice on that?
Yeah. So are you trying to focus to any particular place through your eyes during the walking session, or you are keeping the eyes in a more comfortable, simply glancing kind of a state?
I simply have my eyes like a couple meters in front of me.
Yeah. So basically in this practice, our eyes are not the main say concern. rather our foot. So we are simply using the eyes to simply guide ourselves through the walking path, and we are not focusing any particular place using the eyes. On the other hand, while we are likewise freely moving in a more relaxed manner, and we are trying to recognize various sensations happen in our foot. So that is the most interesting part. So our eyes are open, we can hear various sounds, at the same time we are intentionally walking, and there are various other people also surrounding us, but at the same time we are trying to keep our attention where it is necessary. So this is in a way a little challenging at the beginning, but it is very interesting practice. So it requires little amount of effort at the beginning, but once you are becoming more and more familiar with it, and definitely you will start to love that practice.
Okay, and practical question, if I get very distracted by the thoughts while doing walking meditation, or maybe by pain or some other thing, should I be mindful about it, label it, or just try to come back to sensations from my feet?
Yeah, fine. Actually, you can label it, no problem. I mean, suppose your mind is distracted to a particular sound, and you can simply be aware of that, and then slowly, softly bring your attention back to the walk. So basically, in this practice, what we are emphasizing is the mindfulness. Because while you are being mindful about various sensations happen in the foot, and when you are mindful about something outside sound, so that is the same mindfulness. So mindfulness is unbroken. Continuous mindfulness is there. Object has changed. So it is little different from the concentration practice where we are trying to fix our mind onto a particular object. But here, objects are constantly changing, but we are able to maintain mindfulness. So therefore, you don't need to worry too much about that your mind has now being aware of something else, because that is also included in the practice.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Okay, Bante, I'm just checking the time. It seems we have used the hour with you for the interviews. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and again, one small thing, Jan, if it is necessary, I can spend 1 hour on tomorrow for the question and answer session, if necessary.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if people would like to have an interview with you, they can do so tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, but I won't be able to deliver the Dhamma talk. And Sunday,
Okay.
Yeah, Sunday actually I can't do both. But tomorrow actually I can do the question and answer session at the same time.
Okay, I will ask people
And
how they feel about it, and I will write you an email if people will join.
Okay.
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 If nobody, because I have told them that there will be any Zoom sessions during the weekend, so maybe they are already set for it.
Right.
So I will discuss it and let you know if there is a demand for the interview with you.
Yeah. Great. Thanks.
So, thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Teruvan Sannai.
Teruvan Sannai, Bante.
Yeah, Teruvan
Thank you
Sannai.
very much.